The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, welcome back to you Amazing Mechatronics, Young Engineers of Today. We are going to continue with Scratch, unsurprisingly, and we're going to finish out the Pong game, and we're also just going to sort of play with it, make it our own, fiddle with it, add new things, and get, by extension, a little bit more uh, knowledgeable about sort of those different tent poles of programming that I was talking about before, variables and loops and control flow and stuff like that. So hopefully this should be a pretty enlightening and interesting lesson. We'll finish out the Pong game and we'll see what else we can do to make it our own. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and go to scratch.mit.edu, just like I've done before. And I should already be logged in. Perfect. And if I go to my stuff, I can see all of my projects that I have. So I'm going to check the Progamers AM Division A. As you can see, we've done a lot of Pong games. But yeah, so let me go ahead and open that one up. And I'm going to see inside of it. And here we are. This is our project. Give everybody just a couple of minutes. 6 after, we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll go from there. Yes, you will be working on the score today, and we'll also just see what else we can do with variables. All right, so everybody's presumably got it open at this point. What we're going to do is we'll just run a little test here, and everything should be operating as expected. So if we let it boom, then the program ends. Perfect. What we would like is something to print to the screen to let us know what the score is. So let's check out the different stuff that we have here. Okay. Events and control and sensing and operators and more blocks. Okay. Check out the different costumes we have here, just to see if there's an easy way we can do this. Okay, so this is actually, let me double check the presentation here, but I believe this is actually not something that's a part of the presentation. So we're going to be hitting some unexplored ground here. So let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to do that. Now, let's start by talking a little bit about how exactly we want this to work. So we want the score to always be on the screen, and we want it to go up in value when ball hits paddle. And we want it to reset when game end, or new game is started, we should say. So that seems like that should be a pretty good set of sort of requirements for our score. Anything I'm missing that you guys can think of? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So always be on screen. Oh, start a new place for a new round. So you want the score to move around? All right, maybe that's something we can explore um, once we get it up on the screen. So we can say optional goals. Score moves with each new game. How's that sound? Aha, I see. Okay, so good. I'm glad. I see another vote for score restarts after ball hits end zone. Now here's my input on that. I like where you're going with that. And that's why I have reset when new game is started. Now, why might I say reset when new game is started as opposed to score restarts after ball hits end zone? Think about if you as a player, you're playing the game and you happen to let the ball get past you and the game is over. Once the ball gets past you, if we set it up so that the score restarts, then you might not have any time to. Yeah, I did. I'm just saying the distinction between the two. Yeah, but you're right though. I did totally. Um, you might not have time to read your score. So if we say that the reset happens when the new game is started, we give the player plenty of time to go like, oh man, I got like 25 million points, and I've been playing this game for 3 months. But whatever. I got a bunch of points, and I'm good with that score. So let me go ahead and try again. So then when we hit the flag, the score resets back to 0 because that's really when we need it to be. Is the game needs to start at 0 points. It doesn't necessarily need to end at 0 points. It needs to end at however many points the player has, right? But I like that you're putting it out there. So we'll keep it as it is. And let's see about implementing it. So the first thing is always be on screen. Now, of all of the things that are sitting here, what's on the screen? We've got backdrops and sprites, right? What do you think a good... Let's see here. Let's try painting a new sprite. And we'll call this instead of sprite 2, well, okay, we can't really call it anything else that I can tell here. Let's go ahead and throw in a text box here, and we'll say score 0. And we'll go back to scripts, and here we are. We have score 0. Now, this is a good start. It's a little bit of a pain to move it, but let's see if we can't affect how this is. That was eloquently put on my part. So let's check out what options we have here. We've got under looks, we've got say hello, we've got think, show and hide, change color, clear graphic effects, backdrop name and size, sounds, data. Okay, so we got go to data. Now I do see there's a make a variable here. We'll call this variable sprite or score, and we'll keep it for this sprite only. All right, well, okay, so Scratch does it a little bit differently. So I'm actually going to get rid of the sprite. And instead, I'm going to keep track of the sprite. I'm going to keep track of it in the end zone sprite, the ending sprite. So we're going to call it score. So now we've got it listed up here. If we uncheck the box, it goes invisible. But if we keep the box checked, then score is visible up here in the corner. All right, so far so good. Now, we've got to make sure that this score is incremented. Now, I did something a little wonky. And what is that? Does anybody have an idea of how this might be a little bit more difficult than normal? Think about where all of our code is stored. So I put the score variable inside of the end zone sprite. Why might that make our life a little bit more difficult? Well, let me put it to you this way. All of our code, yeah, okay, there you go. So we should have either done it on the trampoline or the beach ball instead. That's one of the answers. Um, Now, the reason for that is because all of our code exists on the ball. Well, some of the code exists on the trampoline, but most of our code exists on the ball. That makes it bounce and stuff like that. So let's go ahead. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Um, I'm going to call this a learning experience, although it wasn't exactly the most helpful one. Um, oh, interesting. Okay. So variables have global scope. All right. I'm learning as much as you are as we go through this. That means nothing to you. I apologize. Now, first off, let me apologize again. That me saying that our lives are going to be a little bit harder by setting up here doesn't mean anything because there was an assumption I made about how Scratch works that's not correct. Um, our lives are not going to be made significantly harder or harder at all. In fact, everything should be very easy. So what we're going to do is, well, first off, we've already got one. Our score is on the screen now, and it will always be on the screen. Now we want it to go up in value when the ball hits the paddle. So let's check out our code here. We've got if touching trampoline, then point in direction 0 and turn and pick random direction negative 45 to 45 degrees. So this is our code right here for what happens when the ball hits the trampoline. So now we need to put information in here that changes the score value. And if we check this out, we've got set score to 0, change score by 1, show variable score, and hide variable score. Well, maybe we'll want to change score by 1. So let's go ahead and just drop that in there. And let's see what happens when we run the game. Bounce it off the thing, and hey, look at that. The score is incrementing. Perfect. Now let's stop it and run it again. All right, so our score is still 4. So we're missing the last part of our code, which is to reset when a new game is started. Now, where do you think we should put something like that? If we want the score to reset whenever a new game is started, where should that go in our code? All right, so I got to vote for the red line. Let's give that a try. Let's go ahead and put that right there. We'll set score to 0 and stop all and hit run. And our score actually is at 8 now, so it didn't quite reset. But let's go ahead and let it hit the red line. And our score is 0. So our score became 0 when the game ended. And if we restart the game, sure, yeah, there you go. The score is 0. So the score did reset. It reset when the game ended, though. How do we make it so that the score resets when the game starts? Because here's the other thing. I can start it, whoops, and not be bad at the game. I can start it, have the ball hit the trampoline, and then as it's going up, I can really quickly click the red stop sign. Our score is still 3. And if I click the red flag again, or the green flag again, our score remained 3. All right, so we got to vote for stage. So you mean you want to place it on the backdrop? Okay, we could do that too. Actually, that's entirely possible. However, we can place the score reset in this set of code here. It's just got to go in a very specific place. So let's think about it for a moment. If you want the score to reset whenever a new game is started and only when a new game is started, that is to say, whenever the game is reset, where do you think we're going to place that score reset? So we want the score to reset whenever the game is started again. Anytime the game is started, we want the score to reset. So where are we going to place this set score to 0? It's going to exist. Yep, exactly. So let me drag this out. It's going to be placed under one of these when green flag is clicked. And in fact, I can put it right here because that's a nice and convenient place. So let's go ahead and click the green flag. Our score is 8 right now. And boom, now the score is 0. Now I can let it hit the red line. Our score remains 2 until we click the green flag. It becomes 0 again. And I can click the red stop sign. Our score remains whatever the score is, in this case 1, until I click the green flag again. Because the green flag always resets the game. So that fulfills the final condition here, reset when a new game is started. Unfortunately, based on the way that variables are set up, I don't think it's really going to be possible to have the score move with each new game because we can't change the placement of where this is. Oh, no, we can. Okay, so can we, under motion? Nah, we can't. So we can move it manually, but we can't really move it in the code. Unless we can, nah, no motion blocks on stage. Didn't think so. Okay. All right, so now we have a completely viable Pong game. Yeah, we could totally make the ball change position in the new game. All right. That's an interesting one. All right, let's start making a list of optional goals. So let's do a new set of optional goals. And let's start listing them off. So we want to make the ball change position in new game. So let's say that maybe it doesn't always start at 0, 0, but it starts in sort of a random position somewhere between -10, or let's do -25, -25, and 25, 25. So somewhere in like a square, if we say that this is -25 and this is +25, 25, it starts somewhere in like a square that's created by that. So we can have the ball change position in the new game. What else could we do? Now that we have variables, we can do a whole lot more too. And we can explore each of these. So what else do you want to see the game do? Like maybe, for instance, okay, so sound when you score. We could have the ball speed up when you score. What else we got? Okay, so win condition, max score. So you want the ball to speed up whenever you score? All right. So we'll put in another vote for that one. Okay. All right. Well, this seems like plenty for half an hour. So let's see if we can't get this implemented. So let's see what we got here. Let's start out with making the ball change position in a new game. What part of the code affects where the ball is supposed to be whenever a new game starts? I've got it here on my screen. Yeah, you got it. Go to x0, y0. So if you recall, when I wanted the ball to turn in a random direction, I gave it this pick random block. So we're going to actually stick a couple of those blocks inside, let's move this one over, inside of these parameters here. And we're just going to pick random -25 to 25 and -25 to 25. And let's see what happens when we start a new game. So now it's kind of hard to tell, but the ball does start in a random position each time. Maybe we can make the values larger. Let's do 100 negative 100 to 100 will make the effect more pronounced so that you can see it more easily. Oops. See, now it's sometimes the ball's actually just about hitting the bottom. Sometimes it's up near the top. So yeah, we can definitely have the ball start in a random position by doing that. It touched the. I kept clicking the green flag to restart the game. That's why. Yeah, it did definitely stop. I just kept clicking the green flag. So it was still operating properly. And the reason why, while I was explaining that the ball did not stop, is because if you double click on a part of your code, it will execute just that part of the code. So it ignored the whole touching color red. All right, so that's one optional thing down. Now we want to have a sound when you score. So let's see here. Well, we can go to sound. And we can just add this. What do you think? Where do you think we should put this? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'll just put it right underneath change score by 1. So now we'll let it. This will probably be surprisingly loud. Also, I'm just gonna. There we go. Yep. Just so you guys can hear it. Hang score? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, change score. Okay. Yep. Yep. So you can change the sound by clicking the drop down. See how it says play sound pop? If you click on a different one, if you have any other sounds available, as you can see, all I've got is pop here. But if you have any other sounds available, you can select them from the list. You can add new sounds by either choosing them from the library. So we can choose like maybe not that one, but like okay, yeah, you don't need to play. We can do gong or hi-hat beatbox or hi tom or hi-hat conga. Having somebody laugh. Wow, that is a very convincing laugh. Yeah, listen to them. They're having a lot of fun. That guy is definitely having fun, but he's having fun taking over the world. Um, so yeah, you can select a sound from the library or you can record your own. Just go pop. So now I can edit this, cut out, oop, undo, undo, undo. Cut out this bit, cut out this bit, and instead I can have it play recording 1. So when I hit it, there's my awful sound effect. I'm so proud of that. Um, okay, so that's definitely possible. Um, so keep in mind that whatever sound you choose to record, it's going to be playing a lot whenever you bounce the ball on the trampoline. All right, let's do the next one. Let's have the ball speed up when you score. So this one's kind of interesting. How do we determine ball speed right now? Yeah, right out of the gate. Steps. Yep, exactly. So we'll need to change the number of steps that a ball will move in a given cycle. This sounds like maybe a job for variables. So let's make a new variable, and we'll call this speed. And we'll keep it for all sprites. Nah, we'll make it for this sprite only. So now we've got beach ball speed, 0. Cool. All right, so instead of move 10 steps, we just have it move speed steps, right? Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and play it. Wow. Look at us go. Look at that ball fly. Amazing. So I'm missing something here, right? Anybody have any idea what might be wrong with this picture? Yeah, there you go. So the number of steps we have, or excuse me, the number of the speed that we have is 0. Yeah, the speed is 0 right now, so we need to set the speed as a part of the start as well. So now the speed is 10. Oh God, I forgot it was my voice. All right, so now the beach ball is moving. Now we need to have the beach ball speed up every time the trampoline hits it. And that's definitely doable. In the same way that we change the score, we can change the speed by 1, and we'll keep the speed changed by 1 for now. So it'll have like a gradual ramp of speed. So let's see how that looks. Oh my God, I need to change that. I'm just going to turn down the volume. So now it's going much faster. Oh, I need to turn the volume more. Yeah, so now we can see that the beach ball speeds up faithfully with each time that it hits the trampoline. And as an added bonus, since we put the set speed to 10 here under when the green flag is clicked, every time we click the green flag, the speed resets. Good Lord. Okay. So we can just watch it gradually speed up. All right, so apparently that determines what's considered touching and what's not. Now you can adjust the difficulty of your game here. What's the best, like what's one way to do that? Not necessarily the best way, but what's one way to do that? Okay, but more specifically, yes, definitely. We can adjust the difficulty by adjusting the speed, but how? Well, that's one way. But specifically with the speed, we could potentially spawn another beach ball in and then have it, do its thing as well. Yeah, exactly. We change the amount that speed is adjusted by. Right now, speed is being adjusted by 1, and We could potentially make that smaller, although I'm not sure if Scratch deals with, uh, you know, fractions of numbers very well. So let's try making it harder. So we'll put 3 in here instead, and let's see what happens. Turn down the volume so you don't have to hear me. There we go. And already, the difficulty ramps up pretty significantly. In fact, interestingly, check out what happened there. We lost. Unfortunately, the ball was going too fast. So this is a sort of an issue with how Scratch um, resolves where something should be and whether or not it's touching something else and what order it determines those things in. So as it stands, um, yeah, we could totally do that. We could totally put in more beach balls to make it harder. So as it stands, there is a theoretical maximum speed in the game. Now, the only problem is that theoretical maximum speed is kind of inconsistent. Right here, it failed at 43. But because computers are weird and kind of dumb, um, it's possible it could have failed at 40. It could have failed at 37. It could have failed maybe not until we had hit like 52. No worries. Have a good couple of days, and we'll see you on Thursday. Will do. I will indeed have a class. Um, so yeah, I think it's a no problem. Thank you. We'll stick with the max score. So we'll try and slow the ball down a little bit. Maybe slow it down to 1. So the speed is only changed by 1. And now we can say, let's see here, if the score, let's say the maximum score is 25. We'll make that our winningest score. So if we wanted to say end the game if the score is a certain value, what kind of block do you think we would use? We've got a couple of them on here already. Well, I'll put it this way. It's in the way that I phrase that statement. We want to do a thing if something is true, if the score is a certain amount. So that might lead us towards if statements. So let's go ahead and drag one of these puppies in here. Now you might be saying, hey, maybe we could just throw it underneath the trampoline or something like that. Yeah, exactly, control. Um, but what we want to do is we want to have this a sort of a different check. So if it's touching the trampoline, then do a thing. If it's touching the color, then do a thing. And if the score is high enough, then do a thing. So let's see here. Operators. If we check out under operators, we got a whole bunch of them here. We got plus, minus, times, divided by, pick random. Then we got the two alligators and the equal sign. Then we got and, or, not, and join, letter, length, mod, round, square root. Just a bunch of things. What we're interested in is if we want the game to end when the score is 0, we might want to check and see if the score is equal, or excuse me, not 0, 25. We might want to check and see if the score is equal to 25. So we can use this one right here. Because what this is going to do is this is going to check and see if the left value is equal to the right value. The right value is going to be whatever we want our value to be, and the left one is going to be our variable. So let's go ahead and drag that in there. Boop. So we're going to say if something is equal to something else, then blank. And we want our score to be equal to 25. So let's go ahead and drag this over here and slot it right in there. And then we can just say 25. So now we can read this. If score is equal to 25, then, and we're just going to stop all. Because that'll end the game, right? So let's check it out. Hopefully I'm not super terrible at it. Actually, we can create a debug scenario. We can say if score is equal to 5, because I mean I'm pretty bad, but surely I'll be able to get 5 points, right? So let's go ahead and run it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the ball stops right there, and we can see our score is 5. So cool, we won, right? But it looks the same as if we lost. So maybe that's something else we can do. Win message and lose message. Let's go about putting that in. So you remember before how I created a couple of a sprite that was labeled score and it said score is equal to 0? We're going to do a similar thing. We're going to do something a little bit wonky, but at the same time also hopefully it'll seem a little clever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint 2 new sprites. One of them is going to be you win. And the other one is going to be you lose, sad face. So now we've got 2 sets of text here. We've got you win and you lose. Let's try and center this dealio here. Those look decently centered, right? So, cool. So far, so good, except for the fact that they're always there. And we're always going to lose and win at the same time. It's going to be like Schrodinger's Pong. Also, we need to up the score limit again to 25. Wow, the ball is wigging out right now. Let it go. Okay. Cool. Wow. Also, the score was going nuts, too. And the ball is speeding up. Man, this game looks like wicked fun if only we can make the ball actually move. Ah, oh, weak. Okay. Now here's the thing. I'm going to hide both of these. And you might be saying, well, why would you want to hide them? I'll tell you why you might want to hide them. Under looks, well, let's go ahead and say under events, for both you win and you lose, we're going to have a green flag click event where they hide themselves. So now if we show them and we run the game, they disappear. Cool. My God, I've really not gotten used to my voice. So they disappear. So far, so good, right? Now check this out. This is going to be a little trick. Instead of just having a stop all, what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast a message for each of them. And we're going to call one message you win, and one message you lose. And let's drag you lose under if touching color red, and you win under score equals 25. Now, this comes into messages, which we're actually going to touch on, I believe, in the next lesson. But here's the thing. Check this out. When I receive message 1, now notice how it's broadcast message 1 and broadcast message 1 and wait. Interesting. Let's check out sprite 2 under you win. If I drag out this when I receive message and select the dropdown, you've got you lose and you win. So this is the you win message. Let's wait for the you win, or excuse me, the you win text. Let's wait for the you win message. And under looks, we'll show it. Just like under you lose, we'll wait for the you lose message and we will show it. So now the appropriate message should appear whenever this message is broadcast, and the message should be broadcast whenever the condition is met, so whenever the ball touches the red, or whenever the score is equal to 25. So let's check it out. We'll run through it. It'll speed up. It'll be really quite difficult to win the game at 25, but I have faith. Nope, I don't. I lost. But check it out. You lose appears on the screen. Just like that. And if we click the green flag, it resets. So now we know whether or not we've won or lost. And setting the score to 25 is actually pretty difficult. So that's another way that you can make the game more difficult, is you can make the max score higher. All right, let's see if we can do this. Hey, look at that. So now we've got a win message and a lose message. It's 6:50, so I'm not really going to have the ability to teach you guys how to implement multiple balls onto the game in order to make it even more difficult. However, I challenge you guys to figure out how that's going to work. Maybe that could theoretically also involve a similar concept. You might have another beach ball sprite that's hidden whenever the game starts and shows itself after you've hit a certain score. That could be a thing. And then it starts moving. Maybe it just sits in the middle, right here, invisible, until you reach a certain score. And then it becomes visible, and it moves off and starts moving on its own. If you could do that with 2 balls, why stop there? You could have 3, 4, 5 at maximum difficulty once you hit, like, a score of 50 or something like that. Wouldn't that be interesting? So, food for thought. Anyway, hopefully this made a little bit more sense. Hopefully it was kind of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and do the poll questions and leave it open for question and answer time until about 2 till. And then we'll go ahead and break for the next couple of days and meet up again on Thursday, in which we'll continue with Scratch. And then you'll probably start learning about broadcasts and stuff like that there. But okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that.